Hello friends! I thought it was time to jump in again and share another video with you about things that I'm creating. So here I have a book that I have made from a vintage book. I just took out the inside pages and I fit it with a bunch of elastics so that I could slide numerous notebooks in and out of this book cover, just similar to the traveler's notebook style. And I know some planners are doing that as well lately. And then what I did, starting at the beginning of 2019, so starting in January, I have been filling out one notebook per month as a planner. And so I also added a little additional goal for myself, and that was to do some painting, and I have learned how to digitize my paintings, and I'm practicing making patterns. So for each month, I have also made the cover of my album with a different, of my planner with a different pattern from just my collection of flowers or designs that I have been working on with watercolor. And so anyways, I wanted to share these with you today. Here's the May planner, and June was just a little triangle design. July was good old black and white, and that's as far as I've put into my notebook so far, my book cover so far. But within that, each of my planners, I have a section for goals and always a new quote at the beginning. I've really been practicing my lettering and my calligraphy, so trying to include those in my planners as well. At the beginning of January, I was doing this format for sort of a look at an entire month, and this is what it looked like for each of the weeks, so a weekly spread. And in the center, I have another quote. This one just worked so well for the beginning of the year. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. And good reminder for me that I often stall out on projects, but I want to just get started instead of make all kinds of excuses about why I can't do it. This was another thing that I started in January, was a monthly gratitude checklist. And I'll show you in another video, but I eventually moved this monthly gratitude into a notebook of its own. So I have a separate book cover that I carry around with me on a regular basis, and I moved this to fill an entire booklet. So now I have 12 spreads in one notebook, and each of them represents a month. And then I've just taken the time each day, or sometimes I do a couple of days, to catch up and just fill out the things that I'm grateful for. And it's really been a great practice for me. Then I started some tracking of various things that I wanted to improve or create a habit for in my life. And again, this was my first run at it in January, but I've changed it up since. Here's some more just coloring in with watercolor, and it wasn't working so well for me. Some prayer requests, a place for ideas, here's another quote, and then something that I was just practicing. So there's a real quick look at my January notebook or planner. February was very similar, so I started out with the month. I did my quote, I wrote down some goals for the month, and then broke it down into some specific to-dos. But a big change that I made in February was my weekly spreads. And what I did here was, I had seen this from somebody else online where they had left a space at the top and were creating designs there. And so that's where I thought it would be a good place for me to practice my flower drawings. And clearly this was in the beginning. And then I formatted the rest of the page so that I would write any items for that day just in a list going down. And at first I wasn't sure if that was going to work out so well for me, because it doesn't give a lot of space to write, But, you know, now that we've made it as far as we have in 2019, I'm actually finding that I don't need any more space than that. Another thing that I added in February was a month at a glance page. So this is more replacing my monthly calendar. And so what I did instead was just write the numbers till the end of the month, and then put in sort of any holidays or birthdays or main events that happened on those specific days. If nothing really was going on, then I just left it blank. And obviously this was my first go and I didn't have things all lining up, so I've kind of worked on that and made it easier to print out and make sure everything looks good. So there's a look at my February. My March planner, again, I started with a cover page. Now I was getting very good at formatting the months and starting to practice more of my drawings. Here was my goals for the month of February, and here I did some freehand, just kind of artwork. In the end, I didn't like it, and that was what made me go back and kind of pick a quote or two for the week, and now I print those out at the beginning. Here was, again, another look at a full week spread, and I'm getting into the habit of filling in the top with some of my drawings. And here again, you can see I've just kept a list of things that I need to do that I can check off as they're completed, much like the bullet journal sort of idea. And it's working for me, and I'm still doing that. Of course, every week is not the same, and sometimes I've run out of time to actually do the drawings at the top. Here was another quote before I had really decided to start lettering around or drawing flowers around the center quote as well. So again, just to look at another month, I continued to do this format for month at a glance, and you can see I got it lining up a little bit better now. Just some ideas of other things that were going on for me, some lists of things that I'm working on, and so on. So that's as far as I'm going to go in terms of each of these. Are relatively the same. Some I filled out really well, some months I got really busy, but I can say that I sort of formatted it a little more specifically and stuck with that format then to finish out the year 2019. And I'm happy with how things are playing out and how I have been practicing not only my lettering, but I've been practicing drawing flowers and making designs. Oh, although July wasn't a good month for that. We were doing some traveling, so. So there you go. I wanted to give you a look. And then, as I said, I've just been collecting all of these month-to-month planners in my cover that I've made from a vintage book. And I've chosen a nice wide spine for this one so that I can essentially fit all 12 months. And my goal is by the end of the year, I will have a set of 12 planners, one for each month for 2019. And of course I will at some point go back and do some kind of decoration on the front and probably down the spine as well to indicate that this was my planner for 2019. So thank you for joining me, and hopefully this inspired you or gave you some ideas. If you're all interested in checking out the planners, I have them available in my shop. It is rePaperedShop on Etsy. You can follow me on Instagram at rePaperedShop, and my website is rePapered.com. So thanks for watching, and see you again soon.